Hi, and welcome to A Drummer's Guide to the podcast, all about things that it takes to become a professional musician aside from actually playing your instrument. My name is Emily Dolan Davis. I've been drumming since 1999, professionally since 2008, and helping others do the same since 2018, and that is why we are here today. I hope you're doing well. So today I wanted to talk about, I was going through I have a list of subjects that I want to speak on and stuff like that. Some inspired by people that have got in touch, some inspired by just random things that have happened, some inspired by some of my coaching clients. And this one, I read it and I realized that I was lacking in this area, and I was like, yes, I haven't done that yet. So before this episode, I ended up doing a thing which I will tell you about, and you will be able to go on Instagram and see it, because I will be putting it up shortly after I actually edit this episode. In fact, no, it would have been up for a good week because I have a buffer episode to go ready for Saturday. So anyway, and this is leveraging your Instagram, but in very cost-effective ways, in terms of monetary costs. Let's say that. Maybe not time cost, because this will cost you some time, but it is a way to expand your network and your connections within the music industry, or whatever industry you want to be in. Quite honestly, this works across the board in any industry, and yeah, so I just thought that this would be a good topic to cover in how to, leverage Instagram as a marketing platform. This can work as well on other platforms like TikTok. Facebook, I'm not sure, it will translate, but not as directly. So you may have to, if Facebook is your platform, or even X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, which I'll be honest, I'd be worried if it was, but hey, each to their own, then you might have to translate this into your platform of choices, features and how they work basically. But I will be working with Instagram because it's the one that's been the nicest to me. It has given me the most exposure. It allows people to connect with me in the easiest way. So let's talk about Instagram in terms of a marketing platform, because that is how I see it. I see it, and I speak about this so much. You're probably sick of me talking about this in terms of using it, and I'll go from where I've spoken about it before in terms of using it as a platform, and that is to showcase yourself, what you do, who you are. And that, to me, and I'll just do this very briefly because there are multiple episodes where I go much more in depth, so you can look those up if you haven't heard them already. So to me, Instagram specifically, I see it as almost a rolling CV. So the feed itself is a CV in showing people what you have done or what you're doing, but these posts are usually more high quality, should we say. They're slightly more polished. They don't need to be perfect. There's no such thing. So don't bother with that. Just if it's good enough, then post it. That's my thing. In terms of stories, that is more the human connection side of things. These things should be very fleeting, very imperfect, very human, basically. This is where, just showing people what you're up to that day, or if you are practicing, made some silly mistake or whatever, then you can put that up there as a kind of like a moment to show your vulnerability. I find that it's really good for that. Also, it's great for staying top of mind for people, because say someone's looking for a drummer, I happen to post a story, I turn up in that top bar there, and they go, oh, Emily would be good for this gig. That's the theory. It does work in practice, but the more that you post on stories, the more likely that you are to kind of like elicit that response. Then we have pinned posts, which for me, I believe everyone should have a pinned post that just explicitly tells people who you are and what you do. So for a musician, for instance, I would, if you're looking to be out on the road or in the studio, some type of show reel that shows how you perform when you're playing live. It doesn't necessarily need to use the audio from the gigs, because often it's awful, but just be creative. Create something that is very punchy, very eye-catching, keeps people's attention, get straight into it straight away. Don't worry about making it too just coming in very slowly. No, we need punchy, because people's attention spans are zil at the moment. So that's fine. We just work with what we've got. So if you think of it like this, when someone first comes to your profile, chances are, and I always say this, think about how you interact with people's profiles, the first thing I do, I go straight to their pinned post. Like, what have you pinned? What do you want me to know about you? So if you think of it like that, that's what your first thing should be. If you're, say, a teacher, then maybe it's like a free lesson or something like that, or maybe it's sort of a montage of you teaching people and how you teach people and, you know, what you teach people, and it's talking about your potential ideal student, all of that. So anyway, as I say, I've gone way more in depth in other episodes, so I won't sort of like harp on here, because otherwise you'll be like, I know this, you've been saying all of this. And then highlights, which are useful for, again, just documenting any stories that are very useful in terms of showcasing yourself live in the studio. If you have things that have been released on Spotify specifically, you can share posts from Spotify to your stories, add them to a highlight reel, call that highlight reel portfolio or discography or whatever you want to call it, just to show people, hello, I'm doing the thing, things have been released, this is what it sounds like, this is what I sound like. So that's a very, very brief overview of what I feel should be in place before you start doing these things, because these are, to me, wasted actions that are not going to be as impactful if your Instagram is a bit of a mess, if it's like not clear on who you are, what you're trying to do as a professional. You know, if you're trying to get people to your personal Instagram and it's pictures of your dog and some food and, you know, a holiday that you went on and your family, whilst that's beautiful and I love that, it's not professional. And I think that there needs to be a separation between a professional Instagram and if you have a personal one that you use for like family and friends and all that, that's lovely, but they can't be the same in my mind. Absolutely not. So those are my thoughts on that. Once you've got your Instagram together or your social media page together, that's when we start doing the work of what I wanted to talk about today. So the first thing that I found over the years that's been incredibly useful, and this is what I was literally doing before I started, I was going to say got on this call, before I started this episode, was offering a free lead magnet. So if you don't know what a lead magnet is, essentially it's offering people a free piece of content in return for either an email address, but in this sense, in terms of this, like back in the day for me, it would be an email address so that we could chat over email. These days, it's just asking people to DM me so that we can start a conversation basically, and we're not going from zero. And what a free lead magnet could look like. In the past, mine has been things like free drum packs. I had a whole website of free drum packs that I offered people in return for their email address, and then inevitably I would find clients that way, and it was really useful for my remote recording business. It was fantastic. In fact, it really worked a treat, and it meant that people had already worked with my drums before working with me, if that makes sense. So they knew what to expect. They knew that I was the right fit because I was like producing the sounds that they wanted, the kind of feel that they wanted, and then we would just get chatting, and I would find out about them and what they were creating, listen to their music. Sometimes they would use my free drum stem packs to then release music, which was fantastic as well. So there was already a creative, collaborative kind of relationship that we had. And then inevitably it would lead to, oh, I've got this song, I'd really love for you to play on it. And then it would be paid work. So, and again, these things, they're not quick. They're not easy, they're not one and done, they are a constant kind of thing that you are nurturing. But I feel that having a free lead magnet is the most effective way of getting new clients, new students, whatever it is, and just showcasing yourself without any expectation in return. Because that's the other thing for me as well. Like especially when I started out in my remote recording business, it was all very new to me. I was very much learning on the job. So I was incredibly insecure about like charging for what I was doing, if I was good enough, all those sort of imposter syndrome situations. But when you're giving away something for free first, it kind of negates that a little bit, because it's like, oh, okay, you've taken my free things and you like them because you're asking me to work with you. So that's okay. Like, I must be of some sort of level, and gradually my confidence would build, and that's how I sort of like got there with my remote recording side of things. But let's say that you're a teacher. This can be equally useful in offering like either a free lesson or a free series of lessons on YouTube, or a free PDF of like some exercises or whatever else you feel might be useful for your students. And this brings me to my lead magnet that I literally just recorded before I came on here, which was, well, it exists already, but I realized that I looked at my Instagram, I was like, I actually don't explicitly tell people about my lead magnet. And I was like, shame. Shameful. So my free lead magnet for my coaching is my free discovery calls, which I'm sure that you've heard me talk about at the end of episodes, but where I offer a free 30-minute call to people that want to take their career further. We chat about like where you are, where you want to be, and hopefully how we can get you there. And that's how I promote my coaching business, because at the end of the call, inevitably, I'll just be like, look, if you wanted to work together more long term, and this is only if I feel like we're a good fit and I can actually help more long term, then I'll be like, look, this is what I offer, there's no obligation, but just so you know, if you wanted to work together more long term, then this situation. As I say, did not have that on my Instagram as a very obvious lead magnet, but I am literally, after this episode, going to be posting it so you can see it. And let me tell you, if it's not up there, you are fully entitled to hurl major abuse at me. Like, come and abuse me for not posting it. It will be posted though, don't worry. So yeah, just explicitly putting it up there, making sure that, you know, when it is a free lead magnet, make sure that if it's a reel, for instance, which I find are the most useful ways to promote your lead magnet, make sure that it has a cover photo that makes it very clear what it is. Also makes it look more professional as well. Same with the show reel, and pin that lead magnet as well. So let's say that you are a live drummer. First pinned post is your live show reel. The second pinned post is your lead magnet, and then go from there. So again, other lead magnets for instance, at the moment I'm working with a guitarist, and I find guitarist lead magnets for remote recording. I haven't worked out a really solid one for guitarists or bass players, but I'd say that maybe like offering a free demo of what you do could be a thing. Again, it's more work, but it can pay off, definitely. And I guess in a way, my discovery call is the same thing. It's kind of a free trial. Like, it's a free 30-minute call, and you know, I will tell you things that as they come up, I'm like, oh, have you thought about this? Or maybe try that, or whatever else. So anyway, lead magnet. This is a really, really great way of building connections and expanding your network. And the more creative you get with this, the more fun that it can be, and the more unique to you and what you have to offer, the better, basically. That's how I feel, at least. I know what I'm like, so I know what works for me. I know what doesn't. For instance, a free demo, that doesn't work for me. I tried it, didn't work, I tried something else. So that is something else that I feel that is really, really useful to have in place. So it's an opportunity for people to connect with you, essentially. The next thing that is the kind of crux of the using Instagram specifically, or whatever other social networking site, in an affordable way in terms of money and maybe not time, this will take time, is then utilizing the platform to actually connect with people. I was just going to say something, what was it? Social networking and I can't remember what I was going to say, because they used to call social media platforms social networking platforms, and then it changed to social media platforms, which would suggest that it became about media, posting it, entertainment, blah, 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 blah. But initially, I believe it was more for connecting with people, right? So hence social networking. And in fact, yeah, because think about the film, The Social Network, exactly that. So, sorry, tangent. Welcome to my brain. So I think coming back to that idea of using it for networking is actually really, really useful. And the way to do that, because I feel that there is this misconception that if you are just posting, people will inevitably see your profile and people will come to you. Build it and they will come. It's the biggest lie in the world, for sure. And it's not because you're not fantastic at what you do. I'm sure that you are. But at the end of the day, we all have to realize how, and I know that you know this, how saturated social media is. And, you know, just by looking at your own social media, you see all these other players maybe that you're like, oh my God, they're fantastic. I could never be that good. You know, you're comparing yourself, imposter syndrome kicks in. It's just like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to stand out in a world full of people like this? Because that is what you're seeing. So in order to circumvent that, the way to do that for me is by creating connection with people personally, one-on-one. It's not about chatbots. It's not about, you know, paying to get followers or comments or whatever else. It's about reaching out to people and finding people that you really enjoy their music, you enjoy them as a person, they're playing, whatever it is. Or yeah, just whatever it is, you find your people. And the best way that I found for that is things like hashtags, definitely. That's how I found the majority of my connections, especially when it's remote recording. I would look up like singer-songwriter as a hashtag. I would look up producer. I would look up, you know, country music, or maybe not that, because that's a bit too broad. But anyway, DIY musician, things like that, independent artist. Those kinds of hashtags led me to many incredible artists, some horrendous ones, but the point is I would go onto the hashtag page, discovery page, whatever, and I would just go through and I would look for people that I really enjoyed what they were doing, and then I would comment on their posts, and that was it. Sometimes I would follow them, not often, but sometimes, but I would comment on their posts. I'd probably send a follow-up DM as well, just literally being appreciative of just like, I really love what you do. I tried lots of different ways of doing this in terms of like saying about what I do. Sometimes I'd go in hard and be like, hey, love what you do. Just to let you know, I'm a drummer. I do remote recording. If you ever need any drums for any of your music, then let me know. That works sometimes. I do find though that the better way of doing things is just, the only goal is to just try to start a relationship, but more than anything, I think it's just to reach out, because you cannot control someone's reaction to what you feel about something. And yes, you can send a DM, but often that will go into the other folder. My other folder is a mess. Like, in fact, if you haven't heard from me, it's probably because you're in my other folder, so I apologize. But yeah, so I think trying to maximize the chance of those messages being seen, in my opinion, are things like comments, because as we know, not only is it nice getting a comment anyway, but also it promotes the algorithm to show that post to more people. So larger picture, it's a nice thing to do also. And also please make sure that these comments are of value, not just random like couple of emojis. I used to do that too. Rubbish. Doesn't work. Rubbish. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. But if you're like, dude, I love your lyrics, I love what you're speaking about, like I love this part of your song, like, you know, where can I find more of your music, blah 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 blah, whatever it is, just please be genuine. Obviously, I say obviously, like to me it seems obvious, but I don't know. And another way of doing this also is replying to stories is a great way to actually get seen. Also like the stories as well, because all you want is for your name to come up, for them to be intrigued enough to be like, who is this person? And then they click on your name and they get sent to your Instagram profile, and there we are. Pinned post, this is who I am. Pinned post, this is my lead magnet. And if it is in line with what you're trying to do and who this person is and what they need from potentially you, then this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship. And it feels like it might seem very obvious. It might also seem like it's too easy or simple. Let me tell you, it's actually not that easy. It does take time, it does take energy. Yes, it is simple, but not a lot of people are doing it. And I know this because the people that do it, they go, is that it? That's it. I'm like, yeah. That's it, it's connection, that's literally it. And then inevitably, because a lot of the times, you know, you might reach out to an artist and they're like, oh, well, thanks so much for reaching out. You know, I don't need a drummer right now, for instance. Fine. So then you check back up with them in like 3 months' time. And just send, hey, just want to check in, see what you're up to musically. I'd love to hear any new music that you've been working on, whatever else. it's a fantastic way of just touching base with people. And some people will fall off, some people won't reply, some people you will get ghosted, and that's fine. You're not meant to get 100% replies all the time, and to a point it is kind of a numbers game. You just got to keep doing it consistently and things will start to happen. They just will. I see it, I've lived it, that's just how it goes. It's just how it happens. There's other little things that you can do to kind of like elicit a response or elicit people taking notice, and that's things like having a verified badge, things like that. It does catch the eye. Like, it's annoying, it is what it is. It is a thing. Also, again, this is going to sound ridiculous, but it is true. Having more followers than people that you're following, it does elicit a certain thought process of, oh, okay, like, whereas if it's the other way around, then it can feel like, oh, are you just spamming me? Are you real? Blah, 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 blah. So again, silly things, but they are markers. They're just very small markers just to build a little more credibility, viability of who is this person that is messaging me? Are they actually messaging me? Because we're all so jaded, I feel. I know I am. When someone messages, I'm like, are you really messaging me, or am I just another person that you're copying and pasting? Whereas if you say something very personal to me, like if you're like, oh, what you spoke about on this episode really helped me because of XYZ, I'm like, hey new friend, like, that is a thing. Unless you went into my other folder, in which case I apologize. Can you comment on something so that I can check my folder? Or comment about the episode on one of my posts so that I can properly say thank you for taking the time, because it honestly, even talking about it's making me sweat, because I feel there's a lot of guilt that comes with me and my inability to keep on top of my messages. And I apologize to you if you are listening right now and going, oi, that's me. I messaged you, I never heard from you. I apologize. Honestly, I'm doing my best. That's all I can tell you, like, literally. So I think that is a good kind of starting point when it comes to reaching out to people. And also it's useful for those of us, and I say us because I'm certainly, well, I have been one of these people. I still have my moments where socially I can have a lot of anxiety when it comes to talking in person or talking on the phone or whatever. So this is a nice soft entry, like, I can send a message where I can actually make sure that I say things in the way that I intend them, if you know what I mean. And again, you can't control people's reaction or non-reaction to any messages, but you can be as intentional as you can be in the right way. So that's fine. And then the kind of gold-plated version of this, past people, you reach out to someone, and again, it's all part of kind of a process. You reach out to someone, they go, oh, who's this person? Let me click on their Instagram. Oh, look at their amazing profile. Look at this post. Oh, that's who they are. That's what they do. Amazing. Oh, look, this is a free thing that they're giving away. That's so cool. I'm going to download that. Oh, let's get in the chat. Hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. That's the ideal situation, and they look at your stories, they see the human side of you, and like, oh, I really like this person's personality, they seem really cool, whatever. This is all just to start a conversation, that's all it is. And then as time goes on, you'll start to develop a relationship. And again, it will take time, these things take time. This is what I'm saying, it's low in cost in terms of monetary value, but certainly not time. This will take time. But then the gold-plated version, once you're kind of like chatting and in touch, is keeping an eye on if they're doing any gigs, for instance, and saying, I'm going to come down to your gig, I'd love to meet up beforehand just to say hi in the flesh, or even better afterwards probably, because they may have their own process of how they're doing a gig, blah, blah, blah. But just going and shaking hands, nothing beats this. I am telling you now, I was thinking about this before I got on the call, the majority of gigs that I have gotten, don't know either, it has been because I've spent time with someone. We have had conversations, like fun conversations, nice conversations, deep conversations, whatever. Sometimes we've never even played together, but it has been that human in-person connection that has made the difference. Because as I always say, to a point we can all play. It's not about that. It's about the personality, the connection. What is this person like? Because you know that you're going to have to spend a large amount of time with this person on the road, you know, going through, you know, being tired, and just like, if you're around somebody like, you're so annoying. If you think that before you're tired, trust me, when you're tired, I'm not about it. But the going out and meeting them in person is such an important part of this. Now, obviously, this can be difficult if you're living halfway across the world from each other, but even if it's getting on a Zoom call, there are people that I have pure Zoom relationships with who are fantastic. They've gotten me on gigs that are over here. Like, they've known people that have come over here to play, and they're like, oh, could you come and jump on this? And then, you know, same goes. Sometimes there's situations where it doesn't matter that they're halfway across the world. They want you. So get on a plane. This happens. It does happen. Either that, or let's say they don't have any gigs, just going to meet up for a coffee. Just saying, look, you know, I really enjoyed chatting to you. I'd love to just meet up for a coffee, or take you for lunch or something like that. Like, let's have a chat, like whatever else. Like, this works. It really, really works. And I feel that a lot of people only get to the first part of this with their social media, which is, in fact, they don't even get to the first part of sorting out their profile to a point that it kind of works for when people come visit it. They haven't even got to that stage. They just think, if I just post anything, people will flock to me. I just can't tell you how much that doesn't work. There's so many of us online. Why would anyone find you, of all the people? And it's, again, nothing to do with your playing, you as a person, but what it is to do with is actually finding ways to get yourself out there, connect with people. And I feel that if you do these other things, and gradually, it doesn't need to be all at once, because I'm that person. I'm the all at once get overwhelmed person, or I have been. I'm trying to get better at being more level-headed, balanced. I don't know. I don't even know the right words. I'm not there yet so much. That doesn't even make sense. But anyway, yeah, I feel like if you just gradually work on these things, so gradually work on just I hate this word, optimizing your profile. I know, it sounds gross, and it is, but at the end of the day, it is your marketing platform. It's your personal platform that you get to choose how you present yourself, how people see you, but then it's about grabbing people and bringing them in. You know, and that is the bit that people don't seem to, I'm not even sure that they don't realize it. Maybe they don't, but if they do realize it, they often don't do it, or they do it a little bit, but then they don't continue it. So they don't see the results. But I'm telling you now, if you just set aside like 10 minutes a day where you just reach out to a couple of people, things will start to snowball. They will. And these things will help. I promise you. But again, none of this matters if you've got a broke down profile and, they ask, you know what? It was meant to be broke up. I'm annoying myself today. I'm in one of those moods where I'm like, I'm being judgmental of myself today. Right. If your profile is trash, then none of this matters. You can reach out to all the people you like. It will be a waste of your time and energy. We have only got so much time and energy. As someone who really does have only so much capacity and struggles with that, I have to be so purposeful with how I use my time. And so I can tell you from experience, I have done this all the wrong ways and all the right, or no, not right, better ways. All the wrong ways and all the better ways. All the worst ways and all the better ways. And this, for me, currently is the best way that I've found so far. And as I find stuff, I will let you know, because it's ever changing. Because it's the other thing. These platforms are changing. So I'd like to hope not, but this may be obsolete information in 6 months. Today is the 13th of August, 2025. But what I will say is the principles of it, finding ways to connect with people and in person, with a view to in person, is always going to work, because it's just human nature. People want to connect. And the thing is, people are looking for your services. They just don't know that you exist yet. And someone who just posts their own stuff about them on their social media versus someone who is going out to the artist that they want to work with, has gone out to their gig, has taken the time, has spent money coming to support an artist that they just enjoy their music. Who do you think is going to get the work? I can tell you instantly, it is going to be the person that has made the effort, that has connected on a human level, that's had a conversation. It isn't a one-way thing, because this is the other interesting thing. So let's say that you are someone who is arguably Instagram famous, as they say, as the kids say. Another thing about this, if there are musicians that want to work with you, they may have a preconceived idea that you're too big for them, and therefore they're not going to reach out, because it's just like, oh my God, no, I'm not good enough to be working with you, but they might want to. So if you're able to reach out to them, then that is breaking down that barrier, because at the end of the day, we are all just musicians. We are all just trying to make a living here, and a lot of us actually want to work together, and therefore make it known. And more than that, make it easy for people to connect with you and find you by literally going, hello, I'm here, I like what you do, hi. Oh, also I forgot to mention, make sure your bio is sorted out as well, and just explicitly say what you do and who you do it for. And also please put your name in your name area, please, I beg of you. But anyway, I'm going to stop there, because I feel like I'm getting into, well, I say getting into ranty mode. I swear this whole podcast is just one big rant, no? But anyway, I will leave it on that note. If you have enjoyed this episode, please do feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to book in for a free discovery call, you can go to emilydrums.com, or you can check out my new pinned post on Instagram. If you go to @HeyEmilyDrums, either that or just reach out and say hi, because that would be lovely too. And if you also would like to, if you have a specific question that you'd like me to answer on an episode, you can remain anonymous, or I can give you a shout out, whatever you want. Then if you go to emilydrums.com/AMA, as in ask me anything. Anyway, I hope you're well. I hope you're having a lovely day, wherever you are, whatever you're up to. It is getting very warm here. I need to open some windows. I am, let's say, glowy. Anyway, I shall see you next time for another subject. All right, sending you lots of love. Bye.